I'm Brickroad, and welcome to the Giana Sisters bonus video. I spent way too much time talking about Giana Sisters 2D to not share it with you guys. So, we're going to play through Giana Sisters Retro, which is all of the old levels of Giana Sisters. And they're short, and it should be quick, and we should be in and out. I originally played this game... How do I have 37 lives? Okay, whatever. I'll take it. I guess we're starting with 37 lives. Let's get the mouse cursor off screen. I originally played through this game on my dad's Amiga computer way back in the day. The original version of this game. These are obviously not the original graphics, but the retro levels on Giana Sisters 2D are the original 2D levels. So lots of changes right off the bat, you see. You see where the comparisons with Super Mario Bros. Come in. If you don't, I don't know that I'm going to point them out to you. They should be very apparent very quickly. I guess the game keeps track of how many lives you have between runs. You still have Cutie and Punky Giana, but this time, instead of being two halves of the same whole, the two sisters are the equivalent of Little and Big Mario. Cutie Giana is your standard. She cannot break blocks. She can't shoot fireballs. And Punky Giana can do both of those things. And so the goal is just to get to the end of each level, and the levels go by pretty quick. So let's talk about how this game differs from Super Mario Bros. Because obviously the similarities are going to be really obvious. Obviously they're going to be obvious. That was a terrible sentence. What am I even... Somebody needs to proofread my Let's Play videos before I put them online. Make sure I don't say things like that. But the difference is, for one thing, blocks don't have to go on full tiles. There can be half blocks, which means there are lots of areas in the game where you have to step on half blocks or jump to half blocks. And you see Giana herself does not even take up a complete horizontal tile the way Mario does in his games. Two, there's no inertia. There's no run button in this game the way there is in Super Mario Bros. You don't have to worry about running and jumping in any capacity. All your jumps can be carefully measured from a standstill if need be. So the jumping mechanics feel more like Mega Man. We'll go to the bonus round here. We'll just go in here. Why not? Feel more like Mega Man than Mario. The fireballs, of course, the trajectory on the fireballs is way different from Mario's. So, like in a narrow corridor like this, they're not going to do much good for you. You have checkpoints, which you don't have in Super Mario Bros. Actually, you do in Super Mario Bros., all except World 8. Scratch that. You have visual checkpoints, which you don't have in Super Mario Bros. And wow, music is really loud in my ears. I'm going to turn it down a little bit so it's not deafening me. And I am not inclined to scream at you guys. The louder the music is in my ear, the louder I feel like my voice has to be. I don't know how that worked, stomping on that guy, unless stomping mechanics work identical to Super Mario Bros., which it doesn't matter if you're above the monster or not. It only matters that you're moving down when you come in contact with the monster. Did you guys know that about Super Mario Bros.? The original Super Mario Bros., it doesn't matter if you're above the enemy or not. As long as you're moving downward when you collide with the monster, even if the monster is above you, the monster will die. So if you've ever seen yourself kind of glitchily kill a turtle that looked like he was above you and falling on you, but he died anyway, it's because he was falling faster than you and you were both moving down, and then he died. Maybe Giana Sisters has that same mechanic. But I'm glad that 2D Giana Sisters exists. Uh-oh. That's not good. They added all new levels for 2D Giana Sisters. It's a complete game. It's more similar to Super Mario World, though, than Super Mario Brothers. You've got the, let's grab this checkpoint, actually. See if I can get another power ball up here. There's one. No, it's going the wrong way. Oh, went into the hole. It betrayed me. The 2D levels, the new ones, you have a world map, and levels are more about exploration than just getting to the end of the stage, whereas these are just kind of action challenges going to the end of the stage. You still have those action challenges, but each level has X amount of hidden red gems that you want to find, and if you find all the red gems, it opens up more bonus stages. So more similar to Super Mario World, but I'm glad that they left in all of the old school levels, because just as far as picking up a game to play for a few minutes, this is a really fun one. And you have to remember that even though this game, it kind of starts out, it has this legacy as a ripoff of Super Mario Brothers, and I'm not going to say that it's not a ripoff, because look at it, it's very clearly, right? But you have to remember that the people who this game was marketed towards were not people who owned NESs, so the game was not in competition with Super Mario Brothers at all. And I think there are enough differences that it really should be considered a game in its own right. It's really doing the game a disservice to just say, oh, it's a ripoff, and who cares? Because it's got a lot going for it, you know? You can just see right away the level design, just the way the levels are laid out, tends to be a lot more complicated a lot earlier than Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers had these really safe, easy levels for most of the game. Probably until World 6 or 7. Maybe areas of World 5 in Super Mario Brothers, but until for the first half of the game easily, you had these very just easy levels that were just easy to clear. It is important to remember that that game was a product of its times. It was coming, they were just starting to grow out of this arcade game mentality. It wasn't meant to be a quarter muncher. It was meant to be something you would experience for a long time. Like, I remember at the time, I want to tell you guys the story that I read in this book that is about the history of Nintendo, but I can't remember the name of the book for the life of me. So it would not be fair for me to mention reading the book, but then not give you guys the name of the book in case you wanted to read it. You see, I just had my life saved by one of those half squares, though. That was interesting. But anyway, the story is that at the time, making a game with 32 levels was unheard of. Because they were coming out like Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong Jr., all these games had 3 or 4 levels that just repeated and got harder over time. That was the paradigm at the time. You had a couple of levels, and then after you beat the first pass of levels, the second pass would be more difficult. But then Miyamoto was like, no, you know what, let's make a game where instead of playing for 32 levels, looping the same 5 or 6 levels over and over again, what if you just had 32 actual levels, and each level was unique? So just that idea was, at the time, revolutionary. And then a few years after that, when that was no longer a revolutionary idea, and lots of people were doing that on the NES, these guys came along and decided to do it with Giana sisters on the Commodore. The Commodore being the Commodore 64, that is, not being really well known for its platformer library. It's not really a game style that did very well on the Commodore 64. I think because of hardware reasons. I think there were hardware reasons that platformers tended to not... Wow, okay, I'll take it. I'm not going to ask questions. I'm just going to move on with my life. Most platformers on the Commodore tended to be single-screen platformers. By which I mean each screen... You had platformers, but like each screen had exits to all sides. And like each screen was its own unique challenge rather than its own level unto itself. For example, something like Monty on the Run is probably the most famous of those Commodore 64 platformers. I did not play the Commodore 64 version of Giana Sisters, I played the Amiga version. And as far as I know, the differences just have to do with graphics and sound. I think the graphics and sound were just better on the Amiga. This does not look like a fun jump. I do not know how else I was going to make that. I don't know about that jump. I'm salty about it, though. Good old salty road. Because the thing about Amiga games is you never got this on consoles. But on computers, you had shareware. And That's not really a thing that happens much anymore nowadays, but back in the day, like... And again, you never saw this with consoles. It was like only on a computer thing, but... Okay, I made a game, right? And I want you to buy my game, but... We don't have the same kind of distribution networks that consoles do. We don't have the, we don't have, like, the Nintendo Power, right? We don't have, the Nintendo seal of quality, right? So what they would do is... I'm not going in here. That's just a ghost room. Woo! That almost killed me. I'm not gonna lie. That almost got really, really difficult for me. What these guys would do is they would mail out, like you get on a mailing list, right? And they would mail you a floppy disk with 1/3 of their game on it. And so, for a 32-level game like Giana Sisters, you'd have like 10 or 12 levels, okay? And then after you beat those levels, they'd be like, okay, if you want to keep playing levels, send us money, and we will send you a floppy disk with all the rest of the levels. So they're essentially giving you a demo of their game for free, and then you could decide whether or not you wanted to buy it. But it was called a shareware license at the time. Because unlike a modern game demo, like if you download a demo on Xbox Live or on Steam or something, I could take my floppy disk and share it with whoever I wanted, with as many people as I wanted. That was the idea. That was their marketing strategy. Was where I would get sued if... Like, I just installed the Final Fantasy 15 demo on my Xbox One. I would get sued if I were to share that. Because it's not mine to share. I don't have the license for it. It's a demo that Square Enix released, and they don't want me distributing it. They don't have to worry about distributing it. They've got it covered through the Xbox Marketplace, the PS4 Marketplace, and whatnot. But the shareware guys back in the day who did not have those distribution networks locked down, like, oh, Giana Sisters, cool, this is a fun game, I'm going to share this, I'm going to make a copy of the disc and share it with as many people as I can. That was their marketing. That's how they got eyeballs on their game. So, how this pertains to me and my gaming development is that, as a kid, my father owned a lot of shareware games, but did not have the full version of very many games at all. He thought it was a waste of money, because... to him, like a 10-level game, that's like, whatever, cool. I'll just play that level and get the highest score. Speaking of which, it's a bug in the game. I don't actually have 1.6 billion points. For some reason, the game has a bug where it kind of starts you with that many points. I don't know why. What can I say? So I don't think I ever had the full access to the full version of Giana Sisters until I played this port. I think I just had the first couple levels, and then after you got through those levels, they were like, hey, buy our full game. But I was a kid, I didn't have a credit card. What was I going to do? We had a lot of shareware Amiga games. And in a way, he was right. Like, to spend money on a full version of an Amiga game was kind of dumb, because you had so much of a library in just shareware games. You could go down to Radio Shack and pop your disc into one of their computers and download a ton of shareware stuff. And have hours and hours and hours worth of play material. Wait a minute, I think there's a warp zone up here, because it's blocked and break. Oh no, it's just gems coming out of there. Or it's a bug block, or it's just bugged. Not the most stable port in the world, this Giana Sisters 2D, if you haven't noticed. The flip side of that coin is, obviously, that I didn't finish a lot of Amiga games. Because we didn't have the full versions. You can't finish a game and have the full versions of. We did have the full versions of Lemmings, we had the full version of Populous, because I think I begged my father for it. Because... let's see, I played the SNES version at my cousin's house, I think. And then somewhere along the line, I got a copy of it for my SNES. But Populous is not a game that lends itself very well to be played with a controller. So I think I begged my father for the full version of that, and we sent away for it. I think we had to send a money order away to get the Amiga version of Populous. Which is a... I think it's a game that I already owned on SNES, but he didn't know that. Because if he knew that I owned the SNES version, he would never have bought it. But I really liked that game, and I really wanted to play it with a keyboard. And Lemmings 2, the Tribes. We had copies of those for the Amiga. And I landed on that fire, and it burned my butt. But other than that, it was all shareware all the time. First death on level 1. Not the most stable game in the world. It still says we're on level 1. Obviously, we're not on level 1. That would be ridiculous. I can't really, though, unfortunately, I can't really stream. Damn it. Damn it. I can't really stream or record the old school Amiga games, though. Otherwise, I would have done that for Giana Sisters. This bonus video would have been the old school retro graphics and everything. I need another Powerball. But let me tell this story, because I don't think maybe I have in another Let's Play, but I don't care. But there is a Amiga emulator out there that's excellent. It's called Amiga Forever, and it's a wonderful emulator, and it's a legal emulator because in order to emulate an Amiga computer, you have to emulate the Kickstart ROM. The Kickstart ROM is their proprietary boot device that when you boot up an Amiga computer, you're booting up into Kickstart. So, you can emulate an Amiga computer all you want, but you can't legally emulate the Kickstart ROM. And without that Kickstart ROM, obviously the computer is worthless. So, these guys got the license to sell that Kickstart ROM as part of their Amiga Forever package. And they sell it to you, and it's not expensive, it's like 30 bucks or so, maybe 40, I forget. And when I discovered that Amiga Forever was out there, I'm like, oh snap, my nostalgia button, and I bought it. But unfortunately, I bought the license on a computer that I can't use to record or stream. And I can't install Amiga Forever on a different machine without buying the license again. And I just don't want to do that. It's kind of weird that there was a gem up there, but whatevs, it's fine. So, unfortunately, because I refused to... that's a hole. Because I refused to buy the program that I already bought, I hate having to do that. I don't have an install of Amiga Forever on my... That's another hole. Actually, that was the same hole, wasn't it? It was the same hole, just a slightly different spot. Maybe I shouldn't try to get this Powerball. Maybe I should just let the Powerball go. No, we're going to try to get it. We're going to get it. We got it. We got it. We're good. But yeah, because I can't record from the correct computer, I'm not able to do like an Amiga game stream or record some of the old school Amiga games. To be fair, I don't know that there's a lot of Amiga games that I would want to play, but Giana Sisters, I could see doing it. But, unfortunately, it is not to be. In fact, when I streamed Lemmings 2 a while ago, I had to stream the DOS version because it just runs on DOSBox. It just runs. Also, the loading times are much better on the DOS version, so I want to pick the DOS version even if I had a choice. There's an SNES version of Lemmings 2, which I didn't even know existed. But, again, not a game you really want to play on a controller. That's a game you really want a keyboard for. The other kind of game that my dad had a few of, but he did not know that I know he had on the Amiga, was there was a lot of, let's say, exotic adult games on the Amiga. And almost all of them were poker games. And there are a million of them. And I feel like I shouldn't go into a lot of detail about those games. Because they're just what you'd expect. It was like strip poker or whatever. Hey, we got to know these bug blocks. Oh, nope, that was a warp zone. Never mind. We found a warp zone. That's fine. Sometimes they're bug blocks. Sometimes they're warp zones. You can never tell until you hit them. But yeah, I'll let you guys decide why I know how to play poker. Is it because of Dragon Warrior 4? Or is it because my dad had a bunch of porno poker games on his Amiga that he did not have installed into the regular games directory, and then I'm pretty sure he thought I had no idea existed. But sorry, Dad, I found them when I was a kid. They were all bad though. They weren't all poker. Like poker was the go-to, but there was like, if you ever played that game Kicks, which is this weird game where you kind of have to draw lines across a map, and the more lines you draw, the more area you look at this mess. The more lines you draw, the more area you conquer, and the more area you conquer, you have to conquer like 70% of the board to conquer the level or whatever. But what they would do is they would put pictures under the area you conquer. So the more you reveal, the more of the racy Playboy lady you saw, or whatever. I feel like there were quite a lot of those games as well. Why are we down here? We can't make this jump over here. We gotta wait for this ghost to go away and be up here. This is the correct way. Oh no! Oh, I should have taken that jump a lot simpler. I should have been much more careful. We're going to time this properly. Time it! Time it again! We're good. So you can see just the level design, how much different it is from Super Mario Brothers. Like, the game deviates from those levels pretty early on. And I think this game is way harder. Although Super Mario Brothers is more complex because you have the run button, and that run button and the inertia and the variance in your jumps creates a complexity that is not there for Giana Sisters 2D. This is not even the first port of Giana Sisters 2D. The first port was on the DS of all places. So, there are rumors that there were legal problems with the developers of Giana Sisters and Nintendo. And I think those are just rumors. Like, I don't think there's any validation to that because of the fact that the port eventually got released. I want these gems! I don't know why I want these gems. I started the game with 30 some odd lives. Because eventually that port got released on DS, which of course could not have happened if Nintendo felt that Giana Sisters was ripping off its IP. But then what do I know? I'm very stupid. See what I mean? See what I mean? Right there? So I don't know about doing a lot of like Let's Plays of Amiga games, but I would like to do like an Amiga stream night. Would be excellent. It would be really fun, but I just can't get that emulator to work. It's too bad. From time to time, I still boot up Amiga Forever on the computer where it's installed, and just take a trip down memory lane through some of all the good old games. Not so much the racy Playboy games anymore, though. I guess we're going down, because we can't go up. Please make this jump. Thank you. Also, I'm an adult now. I can just get as much porn as I want from any source in the world. So, I don't have to look at my dad's carefully hidden directory anymore. I think this is the boss fight here. And we already got hit. That's fine, though. So he's going to go up. He's going to spit fire. Okay, that's fine. The 2D Gurgle Walkie is going to do more damage to us than the Twisted Dreams Gurgle Walkie. Oh, you know, no, there's one more over here. Got it. That's good. Also good, I like that bounce up to this platform here. Makes the next hit kind of much easier. But let's not get greedy. Let's get out of here now. We would have been cornered over there. Good, good. This boss fight's not in the old school version. There was like a pterodactyl kind of boss that did not make it into 2D for whatever reason. Fireballs don't hurt this guy. Oh, he's going back up now. That's fine. Do your thing, man. So the boss fight that they added for the new levels is the boss fight they use in the retro levels too. I kind of wish the old pterodactyl boss had made it. Unfortunately, it was not to happen. Really? I don't believe I should have taken that hit. I think I disagree with that. I think I disagree strongly with that hit, my friends. I'm trying to be very careful. It's Operation Be More Careful now in effect, because we really, 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 really do not want... There we go, we got him. We really do not want to fight this guy twice. Really boring boss fight with a lot of waiting, and he takes a lot of hits. And that is going to do it for the retro levels of Giana Sisters. And then playing the retro levels, you get... It's actually part of the main game. I'll just show you why real quick. Yeah, this is like... This is what the world map looks like in the new levels. You kind of have this, all these, lots of new levels. I mean, look at all these. But there's 8 worlds, and then if there's like a special bonus world at the end, if you're super good at the game, which I was, because I'm the man! Gurglewalkie first try, what? But if we go all the way up here, to world 9 over here, or maybe it's this level here. The bonus of world 8, 810. Yeah, it's... Play 32 old school levels and obtain a red diamond. So to get all the red diamonds, you have to play all the retro levels. So that was Giana Sisters 2D, guys. I hope you enjoyed the series. I hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane. There's the pause screen. No credits. Go away. Shoutouts to Gordalot, who sponsored this video, and to everybody who helps make this channel possible by supporting me on Patreon.